Thank you, Neil. Here's what's happening in the region. Liesl Morton Taylor, the mother of a 15-year-old St. Stephen's College student in Trinidad and Tobago, who was warned about her natural hairstyles by the school, is awaiting word from authorities. The Newsday reported that the mother has sent a pre-action protocol letter to the principal of the Princestown School, Alison Sargent. It was copied to the chairman of the Anglican Education Board and the office of the Director of Schools Supervision. The letter asked the principal to put an end to the adverse comments and disciplinary action against the student or face legal proceedings. Morton Taylor said she has not heard from the principal or the board since the letter was sent. The schoolgirl was called to the principal's office on numerous occasions because of her hairstyles, which include bantu knots, twists, and cornrows. Morton Taylor made a report to the Education Board that her daughter had been unfairly targeted by school officials for almost 2 years. Heavy rains in recent days have left the Jamaican government with an emergency bill for more than $550 million to clear and reinstate over 200 roadways across the island. At the same time, however, citizens grappling with severe water restrictions will get some relief as Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced that the National Water Commission will relax some of its conservation measures. According to Holness, a report by the National Works Agency has revealed that 215 roadways have been damaged by flood events since the start of the current fiscal year in April, resulting in a bill of some $640 million to reopen and reinstate those roads. Of this amount, $554 million is to cover damage caused by the recent heavy rains. Internationally, the United Kingdom government has delivered its new Brexit proposals to the EU, including plans to replace the Irish backstop. The plan, outlined in a 7-page document, would see Northern Ireland stay in the European single market for goods but leave the customs union, resulting in new customs checks. The Northern Ireland Assembly would get to approve the arrangements first and vote every 4 years on keeping them. The European Commission said there had been progress, but problems remained. The Irish Prime Minister said the new blueprint did not fully meet the agreed objectives of the backstop in terms of upholding the EU's single market, protecting peace in Northern Ireland, and supporting economic cooperation with the Republic of Ireland. But he said he wanted an agreement and talks would continue. The UK is set to leave the EU on October 31st, and the government has insisted it will not negotiate a further delay beyond the Halloween deadline. The 2020 Democratic presidential candidate, 78-year-old Bernie Sanders, has cancelled campaign events until further notice after undergoing surgery. Mr. Sanders was treated in hospital for an arterial blockage after experiencing chest pain at an event in Nevada on Tuesday. An advisor for the Vermont senator said he was in good spirits and will be resting over the next few days. Mr. Sanders had earlier announced his campaign had raised over $25 million. The BBC reported that it is unclear how long Mr. Sanders will need to recover from his surgery and whether it will affect his appearance in the next Democratic debate on October 15th. An Indonesian journalist has been left permanently blinded in her right eye by a rubber bullet said to have been fired by police during unrest in Hong Kong. Viby Mega Inda was covering protests in the Chinese territory on Sunday when the bullet hit protective glasses she was wearing, the BBC reported. Months of anti-government unrest took a more violent turn on Tuesday when a police bullet injured a protester. Feeling ran high as mainland China celebrated 70 years of communist rule. Protesters, some armed with poles, petrol bombs, and other projectiles, fought pitched battles with police in several parts of Hong Kong. In all, police made 269 arrests, more than on any day since protests began. More than 100 people were taken to hospital and 30 police were injured. The journalist, who works for Indonesian language newspaper, had been wearing a high visibility vest and helmet marked press. And that brings us to the end of regional and international headlines. Back to you, Neil.